Welcome to part 2 of painting the FD. This video is going to be really long. I'm going to be almost finishing the paint job in this video, I think. Let's get sanding. This is going to be like a full minute of me sanding. And I wanted to play it kind of lengthy because I want to show how hard it is sanding this car. The whole car is so curvy. So I just decided to not use my automatic sander, my palm sander. I just sanded it by hand, a little bit at a time, just because it's so curvy. I don't want any deep scratches. But I'm sanding here with 400, and it's doing a pretty good job. And it's hot. I think it's like around 90 something degrees. And in that work suit, it was like 110. It was ridiculous. Okay, for this mirror, they said just to twist it. And it felt like I was dislocating it, but it opened, it revealed these little screws that just pop out and disconnect this crusty connector. Took me forever, this one, took me forever. And then it just comes up, just like that. And then this screw stripped. And I also sanded the door jamb. Okay, it's getting dark, but I've gone around the car and I found all the big dents.
These are the two big ones. The bigger the circle, the bigger the dent. I really want to fill all the 12 wing holes. That's right, there's 12 wing holes. And then there's a hole there, and I think another one here.
Okay, welcome back to Yapville. Up to this point, I suck at bondoing. I suck at applying it. I suck at sanding it. But this car kind of made me a little bit better. And I really like taking time lapse of it because you can see the bondo shrink. But I'm doing this, my friend Jonathan calls it feather edging. Just sanding, but real small amounts at a time. It's cool. All right, that dent solved. Still got some bondo that I need to sand off. All the trunk holes are sort of filled. And then this dent, okay, so the left quarter panel needed some more bondo, so I put some more on there. Between every clip that you see right now, it's like a whole day. So every clip is one day. This paint job just ends up taking super long, as you will see. But this is like my entire afternoon after work. I sand one spot, I wipe it down, and that's curtains. I go to sleep, I go to work. So it's just taking an awful long time, but okay, that's the last of it. I'm gonna mask the whole thing, and then we're going to primer it tomorrow. I had to go back a few times to double check if I missed masking anything. Stuff like the exhaust, this little rubber piece down here, and the black pinch weld. And then I have these primer cans to go through. I have 7 of them. Primering here is the only time where I don't do it in a tent. So I feel kind of bad for my neighbors. Their cars are getting overspray, their windows, their houses. But, you know, it is what it is, you know. I feel like the shitty guy in the neighborhood, but I gotta paint my RX-7 somehow. But I love priming. It's so easy. It's not like base coat, because after spraying it, I can sand it back down and it doesn't matter. I can just add more. So that's the car more or less primered. I'm going to primer some more on the roof and on the other side, and then we're going to wait for it to dry, and then we are going to sand it. This is how I'm going to paint my door frame. I also need to bag this side. Okay, so I have painted my door frame. So this is the first yellow that's laying on the car, and so far I like the shade. I fucked up though. If I get real close, you can see the wrinkliness. So I'm going to have to wait until that cures and then sand it down. While I wait for that, I'm going to sand down the primer. So this has already been sanded down. You can see I've sanded half of the roof down. That still needs to be sanded. It's rough. I'm using 320 sandpaper. I think we're tired of time lapses now, so I'm speeding this up by 2. During this paint job, I was dealing with a move. So I was moving out of my childhood home, and it was just kind of tough moving and trying to paint this at the same time. I was almost rushing it because I needed to get the car rolling so I could drive it away, but it was tough. So that's the car completely sanded. Now I'm going to clean it up and probably take care of this door jamb. This is kind of fun. This is my first time painting a door jamb. I always do closed door paint jobs, so it feels more legit this way. All right, that looks pretty good. We're gonna wait for it to dry, then sand it down, and then hit it with yellow. Boom, I didn't film it. Okay, so off camera, I set up the spray booth with Elvis's help. It looks like an insane asylum in here. Okay, so something sickly happened and I didn't really film it. I started painting and the paint started making these pinholes. You can see it right here. So I waited it for a day to dry. I sanded it back down. I think the paint that I bought was expired, and we're going to paint the doors, the sunroof, and the trunk. Then after that, we'll paint the rest of the car.
I'm all done with the prep. It's time to paint.
Okay, so last night I ran out of time. I put on 3 coats, really light coats, because it runs so easily. And instead of waiting till I'm done and to sand the runs, I'm going to sand them now in between coats. And then I'm just gonna continue. But it's looking pretty good so far. Okay, I'm done sanding the runs. The paint was okay. I have a new dust collecting system. It's a fan into a bucket with water. We'll see how good that goes. All right, I got a couple coats on, but ran into more issues. I was putting on the coats, apparently according to the internet, I was putting the coats on too close to each other before the other one could cure. Also, that needed more sanding. But look, it's doing it in a few places. But so I'm gonna try and sand it down and try to salvage what I have and then continue painting tomorrow. I think it's been like 7 days since the last time I recorded, just because things have just been failing on the car. But it's the same tent, but I've got a cover on the ground and I'm going to have vents in it this time. The car itself, the door, the sunroof, and the trunk are painted as planned, but they kind of suck. Like, this door looks great until you really, yeah, you can, it's not really glossy. I gotta figure it out. But new tent. Okay, this door was pretty much done, but I really want to be no regrets, so I'm going to Bondo. I'm going back and bondoing these rock chips. It's a really big one right there. Okay, so for the very first time, I'm actually pretty proud of the tent. I have one entry air filter. Gonna have a fan blowing this way to the exit air filter, so 1 to 2. I'm going to spray the doors right now, and then going to spray the rest of the car after sanding it. The roof, the trunk, they're done. After this, we'll be painting little parts, not the whole car anymore. I have 2 light tubes that I'm going to bring them in, and when I have it all set up, I'll show you. Psych, I never recorded showing the light bars, but the doors are done. I think in between the last clip and this clip, it was like 5 days, because I painted the doors a bunch of different times. Like, it just kept fucking up. Okay, so this is the car completely maxed. I'm ready to paint whatever's left, so it's just the quarter, the roof. I'll start painting tomorrow because it's already late. Look at what time it is. Good night. Since the last clip, it's been 2 weeks. It's because my spray cans would spray out literal sand when I first start using them. So the first 20 sprays or so would be like sandy, and then I have to wait for it to dry, and then the next day I sand it down. It was just a pain in the ass. Rust-Oleum, you guys need to figure that shit out. I am so glad to finally take that masking off. It was starting to look like I would never finish. It was supposed to be 2 weekends or 2 weeks-ish. Turned into 5 weeks. But it is painted now. I mean, the body of the car at least. These panels I'm going to start working on. I'm going to drive it out now. But I'm overly excited! Please ignore my graveyard of a backyard, but I got the fenders off last night, and one of them has this split in the metal. Now this got to be a common issue because I have another pair of fenders with the same issue. I'm going to put like 2 beads of weld so that it can retain its structural rigidity, and then I'm going to Bondo over that. That is welded, grinder, sanded, primered, Bondoed, sanded, and primered. Cool. I actually primered the other fender in meanwhile, but you can see clear coat chips. I think those are clear coat chips. They're every freaking where. Right here too. So I'm gonna put some Bondo on it. So I have one fender that's almost ready. And now this fender I thought was complete. You can really see all the spots I missed.
There, and most importantly, right here, smack in the middle of the fender. Those are spots that I'll have to Bondo right there. So I thought this fender was done, but it's going back.
I'm dropping in to say, if you're still watching the video right now, drop a comment that says, I have a big wiener, because shout outs to you. This video is long as fuck. I'm getting tired editing it. Okay, this is the only video I have actually spray painting. So you see me here with, I dusted the corners first, and then I go all in one go. I paint an entire coat while holding the neon light so I can see its reflection, so I can see which part needs more painting and etc. It's a really good tactic. It's my best tactic so far. This fender and the rest of the car look like roughly the same shade, but this fender and the rest of the car, the fender is lighter than the door. So I think it needs, you can see the graying here. I think it needs another layer. And that's all the video I have. I literally stopped recording about a month ago, about maybe 5 weeks ago, because I had to move and fix things in the house and do a bunch of paperwork and all kinds of crazy stuff. So the car just stopped. It's still kind of in the same place as it was in that clip. The next video that follows this video is going to be all about the body kit, picking it up, mounting it, and all that. And this is pretty much the end of the painting video. I won't make video about painting anymore because it's just a pain in the ass. And I don't get motivated to record anymore because painting just sucks. But I'm proud to say that both of these cars that I have are painted by me. And they're spray painted by Rust-Oleum. So thanks Rust-Oleum, and thanks Lowe's for that. They're both kind of shitty. But I like spray painting my cars because then I don't have to care about them. Like, I can scratch them, dent them, and all that stuff because I can still sand it and paint it by myself. I don't have to worry about getting paint protection, nothing. And actually, this is the first time these two cars are side by side and in the open, because usually they're parked butt to butt with each other and all covered up because they're outside. So this is a very special moment for me. But enough about me. We'll see each other in the next video. Body kit video. See ya!